Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Mackenzie.
And welcome to
The Couch Potato Lab.
This is the show where we bring the science to you. Now, we are on our 37th episode, I believe, right? 37? 37, that sounds
38,
like...
38, Tom.
38?
Oh,
wow, so 38 is almost 40, and let me just say, what a journey it has been. Start to where we are right now, we've come a long way, and we just like to say thank you to everyone that is tuning in right now, or will tune in the future. We have a really shocking episode today, so I'm really excited. In case you can't tell, I'm like jittering because of all the electricity in the air. Let's introduce our two wonderful scientists that are with me today. Let's start to my left.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vanessa. My pronouns are she and her. And a fun fact about me is that this morning, my mom put my brother's t-shirt on my bed. I think she thought it was mine, and I think it's going to be mine now.
Hey, that's a great fact.
Yes.
My name is Tom. Hello, everyone. My pronouns are he, him. And a fun fact about me is that I know how to play 7 instruments. Count them, 7. We got the guitar, the bass, the piano, the bassoon, the trombone, the harmonica, and the recorder.
Wow,
Yeah.
very impressive.
Who do we got to my right?
Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie. My pronouns are she, her. And a fun fact about me is that one of my favorite things in the whole entire world are sticky notes. I love sticky notes so much. Big, small, any color. They're my friend. I love them so much. Now, before we get started, we just want to recognize that Eyes as a program and this live stream is coming to you from Treaty 4 territory. That's home of the Nehiyawak, Nakaway, Nakota, Lakota, Dakota, as well as the homeland of the Métis Michif Nation. And we recognize that our audience is very diverse and comes from many different areas, so we invite you to recognize where you are today and where you're going to be learning with us.
Well, thank you very much. Well, it's a little dark in here, don't you think? It's a little dark, right?
I think it is.
You know?
Whoa,
look at that.
yeah.
Blackout. I could see into the future. All the lights were sputtering over there. I was wondering what's going on over there, and we had a blackout. So, can anybody see anything?
No. This is crazy. Something must have went wrong.
Yeah, here, I think, I'm just going to reach in to my pocket. I think I have a light switch around here. I'm just going to press it. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa. I can see again. This is amazing. I can see.
This is some crazy science magic that is happening right now. Vanessa, you have a look of knowing on your face. What's going on here?
You read that look correctly. So the light went out because something must have gone wrong with our circuitry. So a circuit is an electrical pathway. It will send different electrons down different parts, and then it powers things like the lights. The first part of the circuit, there's 3 in total. The first one I have here, this is a very large version of it, but a battery. You may have seen batteries around your house, in different toys and remotes, those kind of things. Batteries are the power, so they send electrons, which power things, and yes, that's where we get the main source of our power.
That's awesome. So we're talking today about batteries and circuits, but I think what happened here is that the electricity cut out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so.
But one way that you can cut out the electricity without turning the whole thing off is you could use a light switch like I have right here. You can see right there, a beautiful little light switch, homemade, of course. And of course, this turns on and off the flow of electrons. We'll talk about that in just a second. Now, Kens, there's one more thing I think that's required, hey?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. So the next thing in the circuit is called the load. So the load is whatever we're trying to power. So sometimes that's a light bulb, or maybe it's a blender, whatever you have at the end of your circuit that you're trying to power. So in this case of the flashlight, we'd be trying to power the light bulb. But I don't know, Vanessa, it's not working. We have the 3 parts of the circuit, but my flashlight, it's still not turning on. What else do we need? Do we need something else?
We definitely do need something else. So we need something to connect all of the parts of the circuit, because they could be on their own, but they're not going to do anything. So we need some sort of wire or any sort of conducting connection. So what we have today is an extension cord. I'm going to pick up my side. I think everyone else has a side too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There we go.
We'll connect it. I'll plug it into the battery.
Okay, now, Tom, turn on the switch.
All right, I'm just going to connect the old switch here.
Okay, and then I'm going to connect it. Oh my goodness. It
Look
works.
at that.
It works.
So when we connect our circuit together with our wire, so we're completing that pathway, the load turns on. So that power is flowing all the way from the battery on the other side through that switch. So the switch is turned on right now. Now, Tom, what happens if you turn off that switch?
I'm just going to go ahead and turn off that switch.
Oh, it turned off. So
turned
that's
off.
stopping the electricity from getting to the load. So Tom has control of if this light is on or off right now.
To quote that famous song, I got the power.
Oh.
You're gonna, yes, folks, I do get paid for this job, in case you're wondering. Now, I actually have over here on the blackboard, I'm just gonna reach on over here. Just, there we go. Yeah, oh, there we go. Can we see it all right there, camera folks? All right, that looks pretty good. Now, this is a classic circuit. You might see this later on in school in higher grades or even in university when you take physics or electrical engineering. This is how scientists and engineers draw a circuit. Now, this just looks like a doodad, you know? It looks like nothing. But it's actually very simple in its design. So, Vanessa, you were talking about that battery.
Absolutely.
And actually, this is how scientists draw batteries. So that part right there, that is where all the electrons are stored. Now, we might remember electrons from chemistry, right? They are those negatively charged atoms. So I'll just draw it like this. So this is an electron, and there's millions and millions of these electrons stored in the battery. And I like to think of circuits as like a water slide. You know, you can only go one way down a water slide, right? And that's down.
You got it.
Right? You try with all your might. You're gonna ruin your vacation if you try going up the opposite way.
It's
true.
So the electrons flow from one end of the battery to the other. So I'm just drawing the path here. There we go. That's a better arrow. But now we've encountered the switch, and the switch is exactly what it sounds like. It turns on and off the flow of electrons. So as you could see, this would be like if maintenance took out a giant chunk of the water slide, which of course is dangerous. But in the case of electricity, it just means that the flow of electrons has stopped. Now, if I were to maybe draw a switch that connects, just like that, connects it to the rest of the path, we got electricity cooking. Again, those electrons are going to keep going down, keep going around town until they reach the load. Now, this is our load right here. Forgive my handwriting. The load can be anything, but we classically draw it as a light bulb. It can power things like light bulbs. It can power engines. It can power refrigerators. It can power anything that needs to be powered. So it's flowing through there, as you can see. Keeps on flowing. Now, this part I'm going to actually save for later on into the show because that's a very special part to a circuit. So stay on the edge of your seat, folks. That's a circuit.
All right. Now, Tom,
Yeah.
do you think that there's circuits like all around us?
Well, I'd hope so because the studio is very bright, and I would hope that there would be more than one circuit powering all these lights.
You're right, there is. Yes, circuits are all around us. You can find them. There's hundreds of them in the studio, and there's actually a lot of them in your own home, too. For example, in a spot like your kitchen, you might not think that there's a lot of electricity in there and a lot of circuits, but there is a lot. So, for example, if we had like a kitchen stove or a kitchen oven, they're all plugged in so that we're getting that electricity from that plug-in, and then it's flowing through. We're going to turn that on. So in the case of like a stove or an oven, we're going to turn it on through the switch, or we're going to put it to a certain temperature, and then the load is the actual oven or stove, fridge, microwave, whatever you're thinking of, and then it's turning on and doing its intended job. Now, Tom, do you think we should build our own circuit? Do you think that would help? Do you want to do that?
Do we got time? Yeah, of course we are. Going to be doing that. Now, I see you have something pretty cool over there already. It looks like a squishy circuit. Am I correct?
That's right, Tom. You've got it. And actually, we put one on your desk too, so you can, follow along.
Hey.
So we're going to go ahead and build a circuit. So do you think we should? You got it, Tom. You know all the parts. Let's just go ahead and do it. Hey, Vanessa, you got it.
I think so. You can follow along. If you get confused, you can look over at us. We'll probably speed right through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got it.
Vanessa, what's the first thing that we got to do in this squishy circuit?
So I'm taking some Plato and I'm just rolling it up. I'm getting 2 sections, putting them down.
So like 2 little Play-Doh hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly. And then the middle is, what's this called again?
Clay.
Clay. Exactly. Sometimes words just slip your mind.
Now,
All right.
Mackenzie,
Clay.
why are we using Play-Doh and why are we using clay? They kind of seem like the exact same thing. Are they?
Yeah, Tom, that's a great question. And in fact, they're not the same thing.
What?
So we do have 2 different materials. They're 2 different colors, so that's very helpful to tell the difference. But our orange, or you have green, it looks like. Vanessa's got purple over there. This is our Play-Doh, and it's actually conductive. So when something's conductive, that means that it conducts electricity and allows the flow of electrons through it. So I like to think of the Play-Doh we're using today kind of like our wires. So we're going to pretend that this Play-Doh is our wires. Now, this, the blue stuff, it's just like clay. And this is the opposite. This is actually insulating. So we have conductive materials and then we have insulating materials. And insulating materials are actually the exact opposite. They don't allow the flow of electricity and they stop the electrons. So once the electricity hits the insulating dough, it just stops. Nothing flows through it. So Vanessa and I, we're going to use that. Tom, you can use it or you cannot, whatever you think is best for yours. We're not going to tell you exactly how to make it because all circuits are a little bit different.
All right. I'm just going to put it over there.
And of course we got our battery. So you can use that as well, Tom.
Yeah. All right. So what are you doing over there? You're connecting something.
Yes.
The 2 hot dogs.
That's right. So this right here, these are our, this is our battery. So I'm putting our battery in. So that's that part of the circuit. And then I'm actually I decided my load for the day is going to be a light bulb. So I'm going to add the light bulb in there. And look at that. It lit up. Now, I don't know. There's no switch. So that's a little... I guess we could add that, but it looks like it's working, right, Vanessa?
Yeah, mine's working too. I've got my light going. My battery's just back here. Lights on. It's working well. How are you doing, Tom?
Well, we can't all be winners today. As you can see, there's no light coming from my light bulb whatsoever.
Oh, no.
And me being the critical thinker, I'm thinking there's something wrong with this circuit.
Yeah, Tom, you see, there is a few things we need to look out for in our circuit. Mm-hmm. Now, my first piece of advice for you would be to separate your 2 pieces of Play-Doh. Because what you have happening there right now is something we called a short circuit.
Circuit.
I think of electrons as kind of being a little bit lazy. They like taking the shortest path possible. So if I had you can see my light bulb is lit up right now. If I just take out my insulating piece, and if I squish these Play-Dohs together, it turns off. Oh. So what's happening there is the electricity is flowing from my battery through my wire to my Play-Doh, and then it's just coming right over and coming right back down. And because it's so lazy, it's taking the shortest path possible. So it's not even going all the way out through my light. It's just taking a shortcut. And we don't like that. But as soon as I separate them, it has no choice but to complete the circle by going all the way around, through that light bulb, down, and then back. So, Tom, that's why I put this insulating dough in between, because then I can squish them together, and there's no need to worry. They're always going to be apart because it's kind of separating them.
Okay.
So, that's my first piece of advice.
All right. Now, Vanessa, I totally agree with her.
Yes.
That circuit was as short as an autumn's day. Something else is going on here. I have them separated. I might even put a piece of clay in between them just to make sure that I'm not doing this wrong.
Okay, let's see. Give it a shot.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
And it's still not working. So what's going on here?
Yes, there's another thing that we always have to look out for, especially right here. I think I know the issue. So I'm actually just going to pull these out really fast. Our red one from our battery is our positive end, and the black one is the negative end, which it's fine on their own. But if I am going to take my light bulb in and put it this way, it's not working, just like you're having that issue, Tom, because if you've ever heard, it's quite a popular saying, but opposites attract and negatives repel. So,
true.
Yes, that's
a long saying. Yeah.
It is a long saying, but that's how it works. So what's happening right here, where my light isn't working, it's that the same side is together, and we don't want that. So our positive red one is going to be flowing through, and this must be our positive leg. Since they're the same, they're going to repel each other, and we don't want that. Same thing over here. Our black end will be negative. It'll flow through to the black leg, and it's not going to work. They don't want to be close together. But if we take it, Tom, you can try this as well.
All right.
Flip it so that we have our positive battery arm going through the Plato to the negative lamp leg. Then it should work, and it'll attract each other. It'll be perfect.
Well, I'm gonna flip it, and then I'm gonna dip it.
Hey,
would you look at that?
Look at that, Tom.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, so that has to do with that water slide, that one-way water slide.
That one-way water
slide. Can only
slide.
go down. Yep.
Right. Well, this was a really cool activity, squishy circuits. Hey, what is the first thing that we need, Kens?
All right, so we're going to get out some tin foil, and in our case, we were talking about how we have different parts of our circuit, but I'm just going to explain kind of what materials we're going to be using today and what their purpose is in terms of our circuit. So our tinfoil, we're going to be using that today as kind of like our wire, or the connections between all of the different parts of our circuit. Then we're going to be using a battery. We're going to be using a 9-volt here in studio, but you can also try using a D battery. Try out some different batteries, because different batteries have different voltages, and that's just like the amount of power they have stored within them. So you can try some different batteries at home depending on the size of your load. Now for our load, today we're going to be using a little light bulb. You can try using a flash bulb light bulb, maybe a Christmas light, any type of small light bulb. If it's really big, you're going to need a really, really big battery, and we're not using that size today. So you're going to want a small light bulb. And then we're also just going to use a little bit of electrical tape. So our electrical tape is just going to help hold it all together. Now I have all my supplies. What's next?
Well, what's next, Vanessa?
I can tell you. So with our tin foil, you're going to want to cut it into strips. You probably only need 2. I have a few here just in case something goes wonky. But yes, this is our first step. Get it cut. I got it cut earlier because it's a little bit loud. So our first thing is that we wanted to fold it. I'll fold it, and then we'll see the size. So we just kind of want to make it a little bit smaller. Roll it up a little bit, just so that it's more like a typical wire that you'd be used to seeing. So I'm just going to get that folded, and then, perfect. We're going to put it on our battery. So our battery right here has 2 circles, and those are going to be our points of contact for our circuit, and we're going to be powering through these 2 circles. So I have also some electrical tape already cut, and I'm going to be attaching it onto the battery really quick here. So I'm going to put one like so, and then just get a nice fold over. And we have to be really careful because we talked about our short circuits earlier, and we don't want to be short-circuiting this project, because if the 2 tin foils are going to touch each other, then the electrons are going to take that shorter path, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to take my next one and fold it up once again.
So you're sort of making those wires that we're talking about, right? And why are we using aluminum foil? Is there something about aluminum? Could we use something like plastic wrap or paper?
I don't
Vanessa?
think that we could. No, I think that the main thing that we need to use is something that's conducting. So Mackenzie was talking earlier about conducting materials. That's why we used Plato instead of the clay. So this would be conducting. If we were to have plastic, that would be insulating, just like our clay, and we do not want that because then it wouldn't send any electrons through, which is why sometimes on a wire that might you plug it in, like our extension cord, something that you plug in, it's going to be covered in plastic so that you're not touching the wires, because that can lead to some bad news. So I'm going to take my other side with my tin foil and very carefully, without touching the two tin foils, just wrap it on there.
That's mighty fine taping you're doing there, Vanessa.
Wow, thanks, Tom. All right, I just got to make sure that they're not touching.
Well, while you're doing that, Vanessa, I just wanted to mention that the reason this Play-Doh is conductive, I know these look really similar, and it makes sense that tinfoil is conductive and, say, plastic wrap isn't, because tinfoil looks like it's made of metal, and plastic wrap is plastic. But what makes Play-Doh so conductive, I'm not sure if you've ever ate Play-Doh. It's not tasty. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's really, really salty. And that salt inside of it is what makes it conductive. So that's what makes our Play-Doh conductive, where our plasticine or clay isn't.
Actually, that's great timing, really, because we have our first question of the day from our good friends, the Hayes brothers, and they're asking, what other things can we use that is not Play-Doh to light up that light bulb on the squishy circuit?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Hayes Brothers. So, I mean, you could try using Play-Doh. I think that would be a really good idea. You could use, like aluminum foil, anything that's conductive, really. So maybe you have some wires. One thing I would maybe try is try a gummy worm and let me know how that works. I've heard that gummy worms are conductive. Now, if you look on your screen there's some other different ideas that are conductive. So we have silver, gold, copper, steel, seawater, so that would be the salt in that seawater that makes it conductive. Yeah. And then those insulators at the bottom, so things like rubber, glass, oil, diamond, and dry wood. Those are all things that stop the flow of electricity. So use that top row there for some ideas and just search for conductive things around your house, because you might just surprise yourself.
Yeah. Usually insulators are things that don't have a lot of positively charged electrons in them. So I can't think of, because diamonds is just compressed carbon, so it's just one element, and carbon likes to stay neutral. That means that it has no charge, so I could see why it wouldn't. Same with glass. You ever lick a glass, it's not salty. It just tastes like dish soap if you pull it out too early. Now, Vanessa, what are you doing over there?
I've been having some funky results, I would call it.
Hey, we love the funk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I have been connecting them, my light bulb will light up and then go away. So I'm going to try a new light bulb, and hopefully that we can get some sort of good reading. I'm hoping, but sometimes
science is all about trial and error.
That's right.
Oh,
See?
look at that.
Look at that.
There we go. This one's working much better. Here, I'm going to put it in there. This one's not immediately short-circuiting.
Look at that.
Hey.
Perfect. We've got it lit up.
Now, I actually have one over here that works as well. Let's see what color mine is. I can't remember just what color light bulb I picked. All right, so if I connect, I have it all built up here. Whoa, mine is green.
Whoa.
So I'm just going to kind of explain what's happening here. So again, with this circuit, we don't have a switch. So I'm sure you're coming to the conclusion that the switch is kind of optional in a circuit. So if you don't have a switch, lots of times your circuit will still work, but you don't have an easy way to turn it on and off. So you don't have an easy way to stop that flow of electrons. So in places like a house, that's not ideal, because we don't want to leave our lights on all the time. Or electronics, we don't want to leave them all day long, because it's going to make the battery run out of power right away. So maybe not ideal, but in this one we definitely have our battery, so that's our power source here at the back. And then we definitely have our load at the front, which is that green light bulb. And then of course, because it is a circuit, we have that pathway, which is our tin foil. Now, Vanessa mentioned a short circuit, so a short circuit is very possible here as well. So right now my light bulb is working, as you can see, but if I push my tin foil together before it reaches that light bulb, it shuts off. So again, it's just taking that shortest path possible. So because the tin foil is touching, it's going back to the battery right there before it even reaches. But as soon as I give it space in between, it's good to go. and just fell off. So, yeah.
All right, very cool. And you got yours working great. And you know what? It's already starting to look a lot brighter in here with all the electricity going on. Now, it's time for... are you ready over there? Are you going to need some time?
Oh, yeah.
How
How about... Yeah, I'm definitely going to need some time.
Me too.
All right, so we are doing a fan favorite, which is the Science Showdown in just a moment. Yes, it is time for our Science Showdown now. But before we get to it, we actually have, I want to say, special apparatuses. Apparati? I don't know.
That's right, Tom.
Kenz, what do you got going on over there?
Yes, so we have I's favorite. We brought our Makey Makeys with us today. So Makey Makeys, they operate on a circuit. So essentially when you're setting up your Makey Makey, you're making your very own circuit. So what I'm doing here is my battery for this circuit is my actual computer. So my computer is all charged up. I'm using the battery of the computer. And then I have this cord, and it's going to connect to this fancy thing here, and we call this our circuit board. It has a bunch of different buttons on it. Now, I'm just going to plug that in so it's good to go. And now, yeah, I mean, I could just complete my circuit using this circuit board, but
That's boring.
it is boring. We don't like boring here at ICE, so I'm going to connect some of these alligator clips and to my circuit board. And I mentioned candy before, and honestly, I love candy, so I'm going to try it out today. I got a candy brain that I'm going to try out. And, well, I got some gummy worms too, so why not try those out as well?
Mm-hmm.
So
why are you using candy, Mackenzie?
Yeah, I'm using candy because candy is actually conductive. So, again, we're going to want to make sure we're using a conductive material here. If it's an insulating material, it's just going to stop the circuit dead right there, and we don't like that. Now, Vanessa, do I have enough alligator clips here? I have them connected to the arrows.
To the arrows. No, you don't have enough quite yet. You'll only need one more to make this a functional piano. You'll have 2 keys because you've got 2 arrows, but we need to connect ourselves to the circuit because humans are actually conductive.
What?
Isn't that crazy? Who would have thunk? But
No.
yes, what we're going to do on our Makey Makeys is connect a alligator clip to the earth area. So what we're going to do with that is put it on the earth, and then if we hold it, we're actually going to become part of the circuit. So I'm going to hold the other end of the earth cord and then type. Oh yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to press my gummy. I was pushing it by accident earlier, so if anyone heard some rogue piano sounds, that was me. Just accidentally making myself a circuit. But yes, we can push our different ones, and since I'm connected, it works. If I take myself out of the circuit and just try and play, it doesn't work at all because it's not a circuit. It's just me pressing gummies.
Just you pressing gummies.
Yep.
So you said something about being grounded to the earth. Now, Mackenzie, do you know what being grounded means?
Yeah, so when we ground our circuit, we're completing it here. So we're just giving it a neutral line. So I actually, while I was doing this, I was testing it out, and this gummy worm isn't conductive.
Really?
It didn't work. I think it might be because it's coated in sugar, so it didn't work.
But
so this would be insulating then.
But is it delicious?
I don't know, Tom. You tell me.
Whoa.
Guaranteed to light up your body. I don't know. I don't know, folks. Yes. So now let's get into some trivia based on what we've learned today. Now, if you want to answer, you have to hit that buzzer. Does that make sense?
You got it.
Play a song for you on the piano.
Yeah, a quick 1-second song.
That's right.
So think of a 1-second song in your head.
Oh, whoops. I was getting excited and starting to play it.
It's a good song.
It's great. I know.
All right, so first person that I hear will get the question, and they have a chance to answer it. So, question the first. Yeah, I said that right.
Yeah, we're good.
What does LED stand for? You know, I saw Vanessa hit her thing, but it did not connect. But you know what? I'm also a mean host today, so I'm going to go with Mackenzie.
Wow.
Okay.
What does LED stand for?
You know what? I'm just going to... I'm gonna take a guess on this one, but I'm
Yeah.
feeling good.
Yeah.
LED. I think it's an acronym for light emitting device.
You know, you were so close, but so wrong. So wrong.
Dang
I'm going to
it.
try to give it to Vanessa. Vanessa, what does LED stand for?
My guess was nowhere near as connected to electricity. My guess was long
Mm-hmm.
earth
Mm-hmm.
dilly bar.
Long Earth Dilly Bar. That's every person's dream. But that is, you're both wrong. Unfortunately, LED stands for light emitting diode.
Oh,
So-
so close.
We were close.
Yeah, diode means there's two, so I'm not quite sure what the two is referring to. I think it means that there's two of those little legs there. However, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems correct, right?
Yeah.
Right?
sure.
Why not?
That's a very good hypothesis,
It's
Tom.
almost the weekend. Now, this next question actually goes beyond our basic understanding of circuits. Now,
Yes.
what would happen? This is like a or B question.
Okay.
What would happen if I put the switch before the load? Would it A? You know what, I'm going to give you a -1 point for buzzing too early.
Okay.
So you're at -1.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Does it A, turn on, or does it B, not turn on? Vanessa.
Yep, that was mine. I think it would turn on. I don't remember which option that was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it would. So, if we had the load before the switch, it would turn on.
Yes.
However, if the switch was off, it wouldn't complete the circuit, and it wouldn't really work. So really, but ideally, you would want the switch to be before the load, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to turn off your lights at all. And I know that you had that problem once, right? Where
Yeah.
you went 48 hours in complete brightness.
Yeah, that's right. I did.
Mhm.
It was a very eye-opening experience,
Oh.
some would say.
Mhm,
Nice.
mhm.
Yes.
Now, this next one is our final one. It is a true or false question.
Okay, got it.
All right, it's almost poetic in a way.
Okay.
I want to say, you know,
Okay.
I've been reading a lot of poetry. Let me just think real quick. Got it. True or false? Are circuits like magnets?
It's not working. Oh,
Wow, that is a horrifying sound.
it's just they hit all at once. Yeah. It's true.
You are correct.
Yeah, it is. True.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, I can, because magnets have positive and negative sides just like batteries. So Vanessa kind of was talking about this a little bit before, how opposites attract. So in magnets, just like we see on the board, the negatives and positives attract to each other, and then they retract the others, or repel the others. So very similar to a circuit is a magnet. So they kind of act on the same principles of attraction.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You are absolutely correct. Now, what's the score now? Is it 1-1?
I don't think. Oh, I did get one question right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Mackenzie
1
got
to 1.
So I
Yeah.
think we should have a tiebreaker.
Okay.
A tiebreaker. Let me just think one off the top of my head.
All right.
All right. I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
Okay.
Is the element known as hydrogen conductive?
Oops.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
I'm going to go with Vanessa. 'Cause, yeah.
I hit everything at once. Is the element hydrogen conductive? So, I remember from my chemistry classes that it's positive most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty happy. Yeah.
An electron. Yes, pretty happy, and it has a positive charge. And I remember that electrons have a negative charge. I'm gonna say no.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm just gonna A B these answers. I'm gonna
Alright,
tell you who's
sure.
right just for the sake of television suspense. Kens, what do you think?
You know what? I'm going to go with yes. Why? Because it's opposite of Vanessa, and then I have more chance of being right, and we're not at a tie.
Well, I hate to say it. Wait, no, I don't. Mackenzie, you are absolutely right.
Woo!
It is a conductive. It's also very flammable. If you look up hydrogen, it is extremely flammable. So yeah, we have that notion of electrons being negative, and they're going along a path that is positive, right?
Okay.
And hydrogen often is in the form of a proton.
Oh, all right.
And you know what? No hard feelings.
Let's play a celebratory song. Me and
Yeah.
Vanessa celebrating each other. You
I
ready?
like that idea.
'Kay.
I'm not ready.
Okay, you
Now I
let me
am.
know when you're ready.
I'm ready now.
Okay, Tom, can you count us in, please?
And 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Takes me back to the old country.
Look at that.
That was so good.
That was good.
beautiful.
Rated out of
Beautiful
10.
work.
And it's amazing that I got to hear that live and very loud in my ears. What a wacky show this has been.
It's been a good one.
But now is probably my favorite part, the part where we get to acknowledge some scientists and engineers around the world that has to do with the episode that we're talking about. I'm talking about our STEM Spotlight.
Dr. Lei Zhang is an assistant professor of electronic systems engineering at the University of Regina. Some of her research interests are artificial intelligence, machine learning, brain stimulation, ultrasound testing, and pipeline inspection. One of Dr. Zhang's projects in the United Kingdom involved leading and creating long-range guided wave ultrasonic testing for detecting corrosion in pipelines. One may say that she is electrifying. Nicely done, Dr. Zhang.
Thank you. That was our STEM Spotlight. Yes, it is time for our potato problem. There's the little tater right there. Our potato problem is, if we can zoom out here, you'll see that I've actually laid out before you a devious little obstacle course.
Oof.
And
Tough.
yeah, and as you can see, there's more than one way to get around it.
Whoa. What do you mean?
There's more than one way to get around it. As in,
Okay, so I'll start at start.
yeah,
Okay, so it's like a circuit, right?
it's like a circuit.
So okay, easy enough. Then
Explain your path like a circuit, please.
Okay, I will. Okay, so I'm starting. Number 1, I'm gonna assume this is the battery.
This is the battery.
Oh, I see the problem here. So there's 2 ways to go, but this whole time we've been talking about one pathway, one water slide.
Mm-hmm.
What? Tom, help me out. What if you tricked me?
I did. This is the best part of my job, is the devious lies. Yes, so we talked about circuits in a very, I want to say linear, that means just like in one direction sort of way, but there's actually two different types of circuits.
Ooh.
Really 2.5 because you can combine them, and it's a whole deal.
Wow.
It's a whole big family reunion. If I just flip this board over, you'll see that there's 2 types of circuits. Now, Vanessa, I know that you're pretty well versed in one of them. Which one? Which one was that again? You're talking about it before.
Was it the parallel ones or was it the ones in series? I can't recall.
I think you were talking about series.
Series.
Yeah, because you were serious about series. I remember you said that.
I sure was.
You didn't even say hello to me. You just said, I'm serious about series.
Serious about series.
Here's your chance.
Okay, so I'm guessing we're starting at the battery,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yep, okay, I'm starting at the battery. We're going to go around R1, I'm thinking. There's a
Yeah.
little arrow there.
Yeah.
I think, and then to R2,
R2.
and then to R3.
Yeah.
I think the R stands for resistor, is that correct?
That is true. Resistors are something that we haven't really talked about all that much. Resistors they're like, they control how much water goes down the slide. Does that make sense? So a resistor is kind of like, it's choking the amount of electrons that gets through it. It makes the tube thinner or wider. So the more resistance that you have, the less electrons that are going to go through. Now, if we go back to the board here really quick, sorry about that. You'll notice that a series, there's nothing to it. You know,
Keeps going around.
it just keeps going
We're used to
around
that.
in a series.
Like
Really,
there's one option. That's my ideal obstacle course.
Yeah.
You know, I know exactly what I'm doing, exactly what comes next. It's just one pathway. That's my jam. That's what I'm good at. But I don't know. Something else happened here.
Something else did happen here. Now, Kenz, you were talking about another type. So when she said, I'm serious about series, you also said something that
I said I'm positive about parallel.
Oh, nice one.
Oh, that's a good one. And I put you on the spot there. So what's going on with this parallel circuit here?
Yeah, so as you can see, there's multiple different pathways. So, I don't know, it looks to me like there's lots of different options they can take, but it all ends at the same battery. It's all connected.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can see on the board here, we have a series. We got the 2 light bulbs, but it's only taking one path, whereas the parallel, it has 2 different paths. There's still 2 light bulbs. They're still the same components, but there's 2 different pathways. And it's kind of complicated in a couple of different ways, but it just helps to make the light bulbs a little bit brighter so that they're kind of sharing energy in a different ways. And now with this new idea, I think that I can confidently do the obstacle course.
Get on over here.
All right, so I got it. I'm here at the start. I'm going here. This is probably like the battery. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm gonna go this way. And this might be maybe a switch, maybe a resistor. And I'm gonna end up at the load, and I'm gonna finish it off. All right.
Yeah.
So I did it.
You did.
But there's multiple pathways. I could do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
Do it.
For
so
the folks
I can
at home.
Start. I can go to the battery. This time I'm going to switch it up because this is a parallel obstacle course. I'm going to go this way. And then I'm going to go here to the load. And look at that. I still finished at the same spot. So
and
that's
you know
the
what your
same
prize
idea.
is?
What's my prize, Tom?
It's that gummy worm that I said that I ate earlier. Here's
All right.
looking at you, kid.
Very good.
All right, so that was
Love
our
it.
our potato problem. I know it's a little different than what we're used to, but yeah. So circuits are a little more complex than we think, but also they're very I like to say intuitive. That means that they just make sense if you think long and hard about it. We want electrons going only in one direction because it can only go in one direction.
Water slide.
Yeah, like a water slide. Have you ever seen water run backwards?
Nope.
That's when you know you got to run to the hills. Cause,
I've also never seen a overflowing water slide.
really.
Then that would be like a
Oh.
pool.
That
So there
would
must
be.
be some resistors in that water slide for
Mhm.
sure.
Smart.
So next time you're water sliding, just think, yeah, I am going to the bottom of the pool. Absolutely. Yep.
You know where you're gonna end up for sure, and you're gonna walk right back up there just like a circuit.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So what a goofy show this has been. Circuits, I think, always brings out the best in eyes. And speaking of the best, now it's time for the best part of the show, and that is Ask Our Scientist. That's right, Ask Our Scientist. It is the part of the show where you, the viewers, are in complete control. You have taken over the station and are willing to bombard us with questions. Yeah, let's just get right into it.
Okay.
I'm excited.
we
Can we
have-
buzz in? I love this buzzer.
Oh no, give me a second and we definitely can.
Okay.
Absolutely, we'll give you a couple seconds. You know, this first one's actually for me. I know, I am the best.
Yes.
You got it, Tom. Always.
This question is Tom's favorite rapper 2 Chainz? The answer to that is no. My favorite rapper is his half-brother, 1 Chainz, because I only wear 1 chain.
Nice.
So yeah, there's our good friend 2 Chainz. Maybe we can get him on the show one day
Probably.
talking about chains. Who knows?
You got it. There's science everywhere around us. I'm sure 2 Chainz has definitely got some science knowledge.
He went to university. He has a degree in everything.
In everything.
What the heck? I need to get that. Where'd he go to university for that?
No idea.
Look it up.
All right, here's another one. It says real question this time. What happens when I plug things into an outlet instead of using a battery? Is there a battery in my wall? Who wants to take that? You know what? I hear you mashing. So
I'm going to do it. I'm going to complete it. I forgot to ground it. Remember? We talked about that. Oh, there it is.
There you go. You got
there
it.
you go.
All right. So we're talking about outlets. So inside our outlet, I know we can't see them, but there's wires and stuff hidden within our walls. So that's connecting the circuit. So it's kind of, I like to think of outlets as like an extension cord. You're just plugging it in and extending out to where that electricity can flow to.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very cool. Very cool. So there's not a battery in the wall. There's what we have called generators, right?
Yeah, they're really big, and there's lots of big generators that power like a whole community. So Regina has like a gigantic generator that helps power different parts of the city. Same with little towns and villages and stuff as well. So it all gets generated in one spot, and then through the wires and stuff, it goes to different places to power different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And often, well, I have a little story for you. The power went out in my whole neighborhood.
What? That never happens. I've never had that happen.
Really?
No.
Well, you also live a little outside the city on your own little palace. I don't remember what it's called. Acreage. That's what it's called. Yeah. So the power went out in my community, but before it did, we heard this loud bang. So that was probably the generator, and it turns out a squirrel got fried up.
Oh no!
So
that's awful. That's so sad.
So that is awful. And you know those power lines that you see far above your house? That's what's supplying the energy to your houses from the generator. And I think that's where the squirrel got toasted.
Wow, yeah. That's why our things that we plug into the wall have those insulating plastics around them, so that we don't get fried.
That's true. So we don't get fried.
Look at that. Electricity, science—it's everywhere. You cannot get away from it.
Truly.
This next question, I think I'm going to give it to Vanessa, actually, because you talked a little bit about it.
Can I still play a song?
Absolutely. We'd love to hear it. We would love to hear it. You said humans are conductive. And why is this?
Come on.
It's not connected to the ground.
To the ground. Oh, you're so right, Tom. See, that's why other scientists need each other.
Exactly.
There we go.
There
Okay.
you go.
Humans are conductive because we also have salt in us. So when you're eating, it doesn't just all go away. There's salt in you, so it works out. The salt can carry electrons. They kind of give them a piggyback, and then it makes a whole circuit because it'll just pass the electrons off through all the salt. Yeah, that's basically why humans are conductive.
So next time someone says, "Why are you so salty?" just say, "I'm a human being. I'm supposed to be."
All ready myself then to buzz in.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll get ready too. I might know it. You never know.
All right. So, would the sun be considered a load, a switch, or a battery? Oh, Vanessa, you already know.
Wow.
You already
That's
know.
right. So sometimes with renewable energy, we use different sources of power. So in our light here, we used a battery as our source of power. If we have solar panels, for example, then we're using the sun as the battery because that's the power source. If we have a wind turbine, we're using wind as the power source. So it would be the battery.
So it's a big old battery in the sky.
Basically. Basically.
Thank you, son. All right, I think that is all the questions that we have for Ask Our Scientists. Today was a great episode. It was goofy. It was wild. It was a great little lead into a hopefully wonderful weekend that everyone is having. Now, we will be back on Monday. If you are not in camps yet, we will be back every single day, every single weekday, correction. So before we go, we would just like to say thank you again for sticking around. This was an awesome episode. And now to lead us out, to play us out, here are all the supporters that make it possible. Thank you.
Bye.